Thank you for your patience. This is clearly our first time doing this particular feature. And there's like 3 walls before you're actually live. So we were having a great chat.
Not
And now
realizing
we
that we
get
were
to talk
not.
to you. I love it. Welcome, 21 Accents fam. I get to be here with Isabella Gamez, who's an incredible actor and playwright and coach here at 21 Accents in Los Angeles.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here. We were like already talking and like getting started with the questions. Didn't even realize we were not live yet. But I'm
So
super
thank you,
excited.
Maisie.
Ah,
Thank you, Maisie, for moderating and for popping me a little FYI there in the chat.
yeah.
Awesome. So for those of you here with us, we'd love to hear your questions. For those of you who sent in questions before, thank you. We will get to them. And for those of you joining us after, we still feel you, and we're so glad to be here together for this deep dive to get to know Isabella, and your expertise both in acting, because we're going to be diving more into some acting resources for people in the all access portion, then also for accents.
Yeah.
So Isa is an actor first, and then also a playwright, and has been coaching here at 21 Accents. Is it 4 years now? Five?
I think so. I think it's been 4.
Yeah,
Maybe 5.
yeah.
But I've been training with you since the pandemic.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So, and she has already coached Danny Trejo on set. She's coached for plays and, of course, sessions as well for people, private sessions, and has lots of tips and videos on our YouTube channel as well, and at 21accents.com. Yay. So I just wanted to ask, just walk us through kind of your journey as an actor, and then also when you started to become aware of accents as even a thing, because most people don't think of themselves as having an accent. So
Yeah.
when was that part of your
Yeah.
journey?
It's funny because I grew up in Mexico, and that's where my acting journey started. And Mexico tends to be the accent that most people use for TV in Spanish, like for dubbing and things like that. So I never really thought of like learning a different accent. It wasn't until I moved to the US that I started noticing that even though I was able to speak English fluently, I was not getting any auditions because they need, or I would get very specific auditions for um immigrant roles. So um that's when I was like, okay, I know I have to learn an American accent and have it in my toolbox, but I always had it really clear in my mind that I didn't want to lose my original accent because that is who I am. So actually, let me jump back into that for this interview because that is definitely the most authentic me, and the way that I feel most comfortable talking. But yes, so
It's
I
amazing.
grew up in Mexico, and then I started acting when I was 7. And over there, I did plays, I did TV shows, I did commercials, but I didn't grow up in Mexico City. I grew up in Monterrey. So I always knew that I would have to move. So when I was a child actor, I did this competition that it was like a talent competition, and then they would bring us to LA if we won. And I won with 4 other kids, and they brought us to LA, and we did this. It was a, I don't even know what to call it, but it was a show called iPop, and we got to meet like directors and casting directors and agents and managers, and no one told us that we would need a work permit to be able to stay. And so my mom had already decided that we were going to move here. And now we didn't really have a reason to move here. So all I did that year was I trained a lot. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to work on my English because at the time I wasn't super fluent. And then when I went back to Mexico at the end of that year, I knew that I was going to come back. So when I was 17, I came back with my family, and I tried to do the accent on my own. Like, I tried to pick up the American accent on my own. And it wasn't until the pandemic that I was like, you know what? I have the time. I had a discount. Actually, that's how it started, because Alex had offered a discount to the people that were signed with my manager at the time. And I was like, let's do this. I don't have anything else to do. Let's do this. And I ended up really falling in love with it and finding that it not only gave me way more confidence and obviously access to many more roles, but it also just gave me a sense of like belonging and a sense of uh confidence in my acting, but also confidence that I can do it, because it seemed like such a faraway goal and impossible. And now I get to talk to clients, and when they tell me, like, will I ever accomplish this? Is it possible? I can be a firsthand experience of like, I felt that. I know that it's so, so, so frustrating at first to even think that you will get there, but you will get there.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got some hearts. Absolutely. And now you get to be that not only for yourself, but like you're saying, you get to embody that.
Yeah.
And people, even just on an energetic level, how rooted you are in the fact that yes, you can do something this hard. That branches out into all the other tasks that you take upon yourself.
Yeah.
And acting needs that, right?
Yeah.
Like how many you get so many auditions and you book so many roles, but it's like there's always it's a flow. Like there's always more,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and it's always my favorite to get auditions where I get to use my accent, my Mexican accent. Those are my favorite, but it's so nice to not be in that, like, that's the only thing I can do and get to become several different people. Like, now I'm starting to try and learn different accents so that I can do many different characters. And it's a
Yeah, I
process.
got to see your Southern
Yeah.
yesterday. That was awesome.
My
That
southern
was real
accent.
good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So in going back for a moment to that time for you when it just seemed insurmountable, what helped you? What helped you take not just those first steps, because the discounts help. And if you're not on our mailing list, we do offer on our mailing list, we offer things every month, different promotions and stuff to help with that boost. But what helped you once you kind of, there's that honeymoon phase of, oh, yes, I can do this, I'm learning things. And then learning is not linear. So what helped you when you came to those times of, oh my gosh, what was I thinking, or where it was challenging for you?
I'm going to be honest, it was coaching,
Mm.
because I I am a very anxious person. I am at times doubtful in myself and my own abilities, as I'm sure many people, like, I'm only saying this because I know many people will relate. And it was having that support and that partnership with my coach that got me through it, because you need a cheerleader. Like, I think that as a coach, that's my most important task, being a cheerleader. Um, I think that if I had been doing it on my own, I would have gotten really frustrated. And there's people that can do it many different ways. Like, there's people that are really good at doing it on their own
Mhm.
and listening to shows and keeping themselves accountable and like doing that practice. I was not that type of person. So having Alex with me to coach me through it and guide me and like be my cheerleader when I needed it was the thing that got me through the tough times.
Mm. Yeah, and that's just such a great reminder too of what we can be for each other, for people
Yeah.
that we know and love, or even just a video that we see of somebody who's in process, that we can be that encouragement for them.
Yeah.
And it means so much. It just means so much to know that you're seen and that people are supporting you and believe in you,
Yeah.
and we can all be that for each
Yeah.
other. But so um that brings me to then what made you want to switch, branch out into coaching from just learning. Yeah.
I actually never considered it while it was happening. Like while I was coaching with Alex, it was not on my radar at all. But I was already a Spanish coach. I was already teaching Spanish to little kids at the time. Now I'm also teaching adults. But at the time, I was teaching little kids. And I really enjoyed teaching. And Alex knew that. And so when I finally graduated from the program, he was like, "Hey, I have gotten to know you. I like your personality. I think you would be a good fit for the team. Do you want to meet Amy?" And I don't know if you remember this, but on my first few meetings, I was very much like, "Oh, like, am I good enough for this? I don't really know." But I did a year of training for coaching specifically. Like I did my 2 years of acting training, then I did a year of training to coach. And by the end of that, I had taken it so seriously and I had tried so hard and like learned so much that I felt ready. And then being introduced to the team and everyone being so kind and you also like uplifting me, that made me feel a lot more comfortable. And once I had my first few clients and I saw I don't wanna say, like, the difference I can make, but more like the connections that I can make. I really enjoy getting to know my clients and making like, building a friendship and
Mhm.
seeing, like, how I can best help them get to their goal. That is the thing that keeps me doing it. Like,
Mhm.
it's just such a special thing to be able to do.
Yeah, it's so deep. It's so vulnerable
Yeah.
because we're expressing ourselves, even if it's through a character. It's still us. We
Yeah.
didn't just become somebody else for a second. I mean, we
Yeah.
get to rearrange all the bits that we have and maybe parts of us that we don't access very often or not in that combination. But it's
Yeah.
still you. It's still you that people see and people are making decisions about you all the time. I could say judgments, but they're making decisions about you all the time. So to have somebody there with you who knows, to get to be that, it's really sacred. It's really
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, through the process of teaching, one of the things I love about you as a teacher is you really think through the different parts and how to explain them clearly and what they mean and what the patterns are to help people understand. Um, how do you find that teaching, uh, do you find that it helps in your acting or your own accent work, or are there challenges with it? What's that like for you as a working actor who's also coaching?
Oh, it is so helpful. Like going back to my regular accent, obviously this is the way that I speak most of the time. So if you don't practice your American accent, it can easily go away. And so for me, coaching is a way to keep that like practice and keep even learning more because hearing other people that have other accents teaches you things that you wouldn't have known from your own accent. Um, and so, like, it's a way for me to stay sharp with both accents, with my Mexican in English, with my American, and even like if I wanted to, I haven't done this yet, but I have thought about it where like I will meet people that have accents that I want to have, like a British, right? I will have a client that is British and I want to learn how to do a British accent. So it's a way to train my ear to be sharper and sharper and be able to hear all these tiny differences that then when I learn other accents, I can start catching on to, if that's the right phrase. Like when I had to do a Southern accent for the first time, I was so scared because I remembered how long it took me to do a general American. And to me, even though like to other people it might be the same, to me, a Southern accent and a general American accent are two different accents. And I felt like I was going to have to start from zero. But the training that I have as a coach helped me be able to break down the accent faster and learn it faster than I did with my American, which took me 2 years.
Mm. Yeah. So in that way, do you find that the more deeply and specifically, hi Edwin, it's good to see people. And I'll dip into the chat in just a moment. I'll ask this one last question here. That the more precise, the better you get, I guess, to use a blah word, at one accent, it helps you with the other accents.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I find that too. So I would like to have lots available. Cool. Let me see if there's anything here from there. Hi, Charles. Oh, thank you. Yeah, New York. Love it. Love it. Awesome. So feel free to put questions in there. But we have a few from some people who wrote in before. What would you say is the hardest sound
Yay,
for Spanish
Edwin.
speakers? Yay.
Edwin just subscribed right
Oh,
now.
yay. Welcome, Edwin. Yay. And we've got Luca. Cool. Oh, let's ask this one first. Luca says, I'm a non native speaker who's been working on the American accent and I'd love to become an accent coach. What's the most important thing I should focus on to make that transition into coaching?
Ooh, I love that. Definitely your ear. That's the most important thing that you're going to need as a coach. It's going to be being able to hear not only your accent, like me, I'm Mexican, right? So it was really easy for me to train Latinos at first. And then I had to train my ear to be able to do people from everywhere in the world. So training your ear to like notice little things or big things is number one most important thing, and then number two most important thing is being able to have different techniques for different learners, because not everyone learns the same way. And it's super interesting to see, like, okay, this technique is not working for you, how else can we get there?
Hmm. Yeah. And I would add to that too. Being able to hear the difference is one thing, but at least the way we coach at 21 Accents, being able to recreate what they're doing versus what we want them to do is key, because when somebody's hearing something in their own head and they're so used to it because they've been doing it for years or decades or their whole life, and then they hear something else that they're also used to hearing other people who sound differently outside of their head, it's really hard to tell what's different. But when I can say, oh, 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 then I can say, okay, oh, I can describe what's literally happening, that the back of my tongue is coming up, the sound, is resonating in here, the shape is going, versus which we can feel more in here. And I need to be able to ground that in the physical, to be able to describe what's happening, to recreate it. Because once they hear it outside of their head, it's easier for them to go, oh, that's different. Even just recreating what they do and they hear, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I was doing that, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Cool. So great question there, Luca. So we also have this question. What is the hardest sound, or one of them, for Spanish speakers learning general American accent?
I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I would say in my experience as a coach and in my own experience, um, the schwa is not a sound that we
Mm.
have in Latin America. We have five vowels and five vowels only. And so
Imagine actual rules.
imagine that.
Being able to read it and know what it says.
Exactly. Yeah,
Sorry.
that like we read things most of the time the way they are written. We don't come up with like random things. So it was really like learning the diphthongs and but specifically the schwa, because
Mm,
it's not it there's no letter for schwa.
mhm,
Um that was difficult for me, but also really useful. Like once you learn the schwa, so many things start falling into place. Because it
mm,
also it doesn't only teach you that one sound; it's also a great pinpoint for the resonance that you need.
mhm.
So
Can you give an example? Because I know we know what schwa is.
right,
What is it?
sorry. Sorry. The schwa is the sound. So it's the way I always try to like explain it as like it's the sound that Americans think in. Americans go when they're thinking they
Mhm,
go in Mexico we go and if you
mhm,
notice that's the resonance for a Mexican accent. So everything is to the front. If I want to have
mhm,
a Latino resonance, it's going to be in the front of my head, like
mm,
over here, and I'm
mm,
going to be sending the sound forward. If I
mhm.
want to have an American resonance, then I have to like send it to here.
Yeah.
And different people will experience that differently. Some people need the reminder that you need to take it all the way back because they have it so forward that you need to take it all the way back until it starts falling here. But the schwa, the is a great pinpoint for that resonance that we need to find for a general American accent.
Yeah. Yep. There are so many words. And like you said, there's no letter that's schwa, but all the vowels might be a schwa.
Yes.
Surprise!
Yeah, and they change sometimes. Like what we were talking about this one time that it was like the letter or the sound for imagination then
Mhm.
becomes a schwa if it's like in transition and then it's imagination. And once you learn that one sound,
Mm.
transitions get so much easier. Diphthongs get easier because a lot of them have a schwa.
Yeah.
The resonance gets easier. Just yeah, it's a great one. I think also the final L, the
Mhm.
O was really hard.
Mm.
Oh, and the loading for the D's and the G's, like the d, g,
Mhm.
n, b. All of that was really, really hard for me
Because
to
we hold
get.
them. We just hold on. Dad,
Yeah,
that's it. Just eat it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
schwas for a second, so what we mean is, and yes to everything that you were just saying about but it's usually when that vowel is not emphasized. So for that your example of imagination, because ma is emphasized, that becomes a schwa. Or it's not today, it's today. And it changes because it's so little, it changes the rhythm. It's going to change the melody because it's not going to be an important melody up there as much as the important syllable. So it really is a keystone for so many, like you were saying, sounds, transitions between them, and really having that home. Yeah,
yeah,
that was great.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yay. Great question. So then in the reverse, what do you find as one of the most important sounds or some of the most important sounds for English speakers learning Spanish,
The
language or
R's,
accent?
the R's are hard. There's three different. Well, I'm gonna do this. There's three different types of R's. There's r, which is the hard R. There's r, which is the soft R, and then there's a middle R, which people don't talk about, but it's basically when you start creating the hard R and then you end it. It's the same movement as the hard R, but instead of rolling it, r, then it's just r, r, r. And so you need to learn when to use each one and
Mm,
how to do each one. So R's are usually what we spend a lot of time on. There's people that will do the hard R with everything, and they will just go like uh toro, and it's not toro, it's toro,
to-
toro, toro.
Toro.
Or- Aha, nice, nice.
I sweat
Or
just as much as y'all when I'm learning.
no, you're awesome though. But or like if it's a word like uh I'm trying like looking around the room to see llorar. And then the ending of that is a middle R. It's not llorar and it's not llorar. It's llorar.
Llorar,
Llorar.
llorar.
Exactly.
Oh, I like it.
hmm So that is the most difficult one. And then I think finding that resonance, like the resonance is always tricky for people to switch.
Mm,
Um, but once you find it, everything sounds so yummy.
and you were saying that forward.
Yeah, that like
Um,
forward sound,
llorar.
you can even like feel your lips be like if you look at me sideways, when I talk with an American accent, you can see my lips kind of going back. And
Mhm.
then when I speak with a Mexican accent, you can see my lips going like way more relaxed forward, because that's where I'm sending my sound.
Mm, yeah,
So yeah, like you can feel your lips be a little heavy even.
heavy. I like it. I like it.
Mm.
Yummy. Okay, Smith Key is asking, is coaching best one-on-one or classroom setting? What would you say?
I think one on one, because I mean, everyone is different, everyone has different needs, but we all have different accents. Even if, like, or different, like, let's not call it different accents, but different needs for your accent. Like, if it's a group of people that I'm teaching a Mexican accent to, then they might have like different approaches, like they're going to learn it differently, and also different starting points. Maybe some of them already have some experience with Spanish, some of them haven't. Some of them grew up in a household where they heard Spanish even if they didn't speak it, some of them don't. So it's really hard to teach a group of people the same way. If you have one-on-one coaching, we can do you and what you need and where you're starting from.
Yeah. There are merits to having, I would say too, because if you're the kind of nerd like I am, where you're going to pay attention and learn, from every single thing, some people just check out and it will only help you so much. But if you're really learning, then you can continue to build all those muscles for being able to see and recreate, hear and recreate, notice, oh, they're doing that with their lips a little bit forward, but when she did this, and so that by the time it becomes your turn, you've already grabbed a little bit. But
Yeah.
to your point, we don't just run people through meet spot run, go spot go. Like, we start right off with what's going to be the most specifically applicable to you today
Yeah.
that you can use in your day. So there's no way we can do that for everybody, and everyone has different orientation points. So
Yeah.
um
Totally.
yeah. What would you say surprises students most about accent training?
Oh, good question.
That was a good one.
Um, what surprises them the most about accent training? Hmm. I think that I think a lot of people get surprised that it's not as hard as they thought it was going to be. I think
Mm,
that when you have one-on-one coaching and you can really focus on what that person needs, a lot of them have done YouTube videos before, and a lot of them have done like self-taught courses before and have really struggled.
mhm,
And so when they have that like individual attention and they get that sound, right? Like they get it for the
mhm,
first time
mhm,
and they're like, "Hey, like I did that. I can do it." I think that is not only a really great feeling for me, but a really great feeling for them. And that surprises them. Like,
mhm,
I was able to do that in one session. What else
mhm.
can I do?
Yeah.
I think another thing that really surprises people is the need of, like, you need to dedicate your time to it outside of class too. Like, there's a positive and a negative, right? Like, it surprises people that they can do things. It can also sometimes negatively surprise people that if they didn't practice that sound that they got in class, next class they're going to have to start over because they didn't practice it throughout the week. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, you have to practice outside of class.
So what are some of your tips? Because quantity doesn't necessarily help if your quality of how you're practicing isn't helping you. So what are
Yeah.
some of the tips that you use and recommend that really help you have that practice that will actually up level you throughout that week?
Yeah, totally. I mean, recording yourself. We are always talking about this in all our videos, in all our workshops. Recording yourself is so important because you can't hear yourself as well as you think you do. So, recording it and listening back will give you a better idea of where you're at. And then comparing is even better. In my sessions, I usually will send out voice notes. Like if we're working on a script, and we work on scripts with everyone, not only actors, by the way, but if you're working on a piece of text, I will send you a recording of me doing it so that then you can record yourself and compare. And then start sharpening your ear too to hear those differences. So that is really important. And then I also always say it's way better, in my opinion, to practice 5 minutes every day than to practice 1 hour once a week because your brain needs time to soak it in, and your mouth and your tongue need time to get in the reps. So every day 5 minutes is going to be way more beneficial than 1 or 2 times a week for 1 hour.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And for what you were saying about scripts and text, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be doing a movie if what you come to us with is, I have a presentation next week. No, we'll work on the presentation or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yes, there will be text to work with because we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of boring if you just do just the sounds. It needs to relate and be something that you'll use. I've worked with people who order the same thing at Starbucks, a few times a week. And so they know they're going to be there. They know they're going to be having that pressure
Yeah.
in public with people. They'll get to practice it. That's one of the best things you can do is find something out in your life that you say, or your phone script every time if you're at a job and you are going to pick that phone up and say, welcome to such and such a thing. How can I help you? Just working there
Yeah.
or introducing yourself, because a lot of times people um, can do it great in class. They'll record themselves in their little hidey hole, and then they'll go out into the world and switch that little switch plain off that is the paying attention and actually implementing the things that we learn switch. And
Yeah.
that will only get you so far.
Yeah.
So
If
that
you
active
have
listening.
someone that you feel comfortable with, like at the time I had a boyfriend, right? And so I would go, "Hey, I'm going to speak very slowly and I'm going to be correcting myself constantly. And you have to put up with it." And so, like, if you have someone that you feel comfortable doing that with, that is the best way to practice. Because a lot of the times, what will happen is we'll be talking and we'll hear it in our minds. We'll be like, "Oh, that came out wrong." But then we
Mhm,
didn't get the chance to stop the conversation and repeat it.
mhm,
It's still useful to take note of it, but if in that moment you can be like, um, "Hey, you're not showing up for me. You're not showing up for me." And then you
mhm,
continue, right? And you stop and start.
mhm.
That is really, really useful.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're out there in the world and you don't want to do a reset because you haven't prepped everybody else, you can just go, okay, I'm going to put that another R word right into the next sentence. No one will know. And it gives you that immediate opportunity to do it again and to do it the new way.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. So Smith Key asks again, some Spanish comes out with a lisp. Is that normal? I feel like the tongue always comes out and I feel like I mess it up.
Um, I would have to hear you or know like when the lisp comes out. If you're doing like Spaniard Spanish, they have that. Latin Americans usually don't. So I'm not sure exactly like when that lisp would be coming out for you, but it is normal that like I don't know where you're from, Smith, but sometimes for Americans trying to learn a Mexican accent, that tongue control, because our tongue is usually faster and more intense.
Mm,
That tongue control is something that they need to build, like the gym, right? And so
mhm,
I will give people tongue exercises so that their tongue can get really strong and and be able to like move without your jaw moving because
mm.
people will use their jaw to move. Yeah.
That's going to help you with every accent always forever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's definitely something you can do for that.
Awesome. Yay! Oh my gosh, I could go on forever. I'm gonna ask one more question from this list,
Yes.
and then we'll do a little wrap up. But I
Okay.
love this question. What is one accent myth that you want to bust right now?
Oh my God. Accent myth that I want to bust right now. I think that if you are too, like, if you're older, if you're an adult, you can't learn a new accent. That is a lie. That is a lie. I've seen people do it. I've done it. I mean, I was already 20 when I started. Um, and I had never like I did not grow up in the US. I had no experience with it. So anyone can learn an accent. It all depends on how much work you put in, and like also taking care of your mental health at the same time. Like, we're not here to be like drill it in. Like, no, no, no.
Mhm.
You need a break, take a break. You need um support in any way, shape, or form. Like, take care of what you need and your mental health. But consistency and like practice will be the thing that will get you there, no matter how old you are, where you're coming from, what accent you're trying to do. We all have the capacity for it.
It's just like the gym. It's a mini gym. So, like, if you can grab 5-pound dumbbells or a water bottle or something, and over time build up that muscle, you can do it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're 80, 90. If Ruth Bader Ginsburg could work out in that gym and we know her, we know she did, then you can
Yes.
too. I love this.
Oh, one more.
Yeah.
Another myth that I've heard is if you lose your accent, I mean, if you learn a new accent, you're losing your own accent. Not true at all. I still speak with this accent with a lot of people in my life. I go back and forth between them depending who I'm talking to or how I feel that day. You it's another tool in your toolbox. You are not losing anything, you are just adding. So, for all my immigrant friends out there that feel like learning an American accent is either a betrayal or they're doing it out of like being forced to instead of wanting to. You don't need to learn an American accent whatsoever. You are valid and you are fluent without an accent. But if you want to, you get to keep your accent and learn a new one at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I still, when I'm speaking with my Australian friends, and my, godchildren who are Australian, I still speak in the accent that I spoke when I lived in Australia. And otherwise, it's weird. I don't know why. It's just weird. That's how I sounded when I lived there because I was living there. If I was to move somewhere else, I would, or like New Zealand, same thing there. So when I'm speaking with my Kiwi friends, and I know it's different in a different language because there's a whole lot more info,
Yeah.
but it's just like moving anywhere, for reference for Americans who would think that's really weird. If you were to move to Mexico or to France or something, you would of course want to speak that language the best that you can and be the most understood and have that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
So because we have different circles in our lives, we get to belong many different places.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love what you were saying about that. Yay! Is there anything we can give vibes to for your acting career? Anything that you want to share so that people can continue to follow you there as well?
Yes, I have an acting collective called Double Take Acting Collective, and we will be having an event soon. I'm going to put it in the newsletter, so make sure that you're in the newsletter so you can get to know about it. Um, and I wrote a play recently that I'm really, really excited about. I will also be putting more info about that in the newsletter when I have it. Um, and just overall vibes to you all, vibes to me, please. And
Yes.
we are all in this together.
Absolutely. Good, good. We look forward to that. Stay tuned. And that's it. Love you. Thank you so much for taking this time. It's really special to get to know you more and share your magic with the whole channel
It was
and
my
world.
pleasure. It was so much fun. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you
Bye,
so much for
everyone.
being with us here today.
Yeah, and we'll hope to see you next month with Gracia.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you, Maisie, amazing moderator. Much love.